Hey everybody, it's LavenderTowne, and today I'll be designing characters based on the deadliest poisons in the world. To start off, let's talk about Foxglove, or digitalis. This simple-looking countryside flower, if consumed, can cause severe gastrointestinal pain, headaches, nausea, vomiting, of course, problems with your heart going too fast or too slow, convulsions, and it can cause yellow vision as well as wild hallucinations and delirium. Foxglove is dangerous because it grows rather freely in Britain, and it's been known to kill farm animals who stumble upon it, as well as people who mistake it for comfrey, which is a flower that is often brewed into tea. Brewing this into tea could be a fatal mistake. Also, obviously, like children and stuff eating it, it's very, very bad. So this flower, while it looks really not overly threatening, it ranges from like white to pink to purple, and it just has this little trumpet shape with freckles on the inside. For this character, because digitalis does not look overly threatening, and it's one of the lower lethality poisons that are on this list, I decided to make her look quite cute and adorable. In reference to the tea poisonings, I gave her a little cup of tea with a saucer, and generally I just wanted her to look pretty innocent while also sort of imprinting this trumpet shape that the flowers have all over her design. The shape of the flowers also kind of reminds me of teardrops, so I put these little teardrop shapes at the bottoms of her eyes. And for the color palette, of course, I just stuck with a range of the digitalis or foxglove colors, which can range from a deeper purple to a reddish pink, all the way up to white, as I've previously said. On her skin, I put some black freckles because, as you can see inside most of these flowers, there are little white and black freckles all over, and I made her have bright yellow eyes because of the jaundiced vision that can occur with a overdose of this flower. Not to be confused with the whites of your eyes going yellow. This actually causes you to see yellow, and you can also sometimes see a halo of blue light around stuff and blurry vision. It can affect your vision in a lot of ways, as well as making you see things that are not there. I duplicated the line art and turned it blue and blurry so that it would kind of look like you're seeing her through the haze of a digitalis toxicity overdose. I definitely think of the group of poisons, she would play it innocent the most and generally pretend to be very sweet. For Arsenic, I wanted to create a much scarier kind of character because arsenic is widely used as a murder weapon and has been for many, many years. It was particularly popular as a method for murder in the Middle Ages and the Renaissance, and particularly among the ruling classes in Italy. Because the symptoms are so similar to that of cholera, it was a really great way to off someone without anyone suspecting that they had been murdered. It also was used in capital punishment in Imperial China, as well as potentially in ancient Korea as part of a poison cocktail that they would use as capital punishment for high-profile political figures and members of the royal family. This is the reason why arsenic is so associated with murder. It has been used to do murders, particularly of high-profile people all around the world for many, many years. So because of that, I wanted to make this character design feel very like formal, like some kind of dignitary. And because arsenic was also being sold to women in the Elizabethan era and later in the Victorian era as a way to remove blemishes or brighten or whiten their skin or prevent aging, I also wanted to give him a pure white creepy mask that is smiling, though you can see if you look close at his mouth underneath that he himself is not. Arsenic was also given the nickname inheritance powder because a lot of people were accused of proved to, or at least thought to have sped up the rate of their inheritance being given to them by poisoning their kin. I really wanted this character to look very creepy and duplicitous because of this sort of relationship that Arsenic has had with our culture all throughout history. And I gave him a lot of bronze accents because arsenic was also used in the alloying of bronze before it was eventually replaced because it is so dangerous to work with. I gave him bronze wings because of the angel makers of Nagreb. I don't think I'm pronouncing that right, but it was a series of around 300 murders that occurred in Hungary after World War I. They extracted the arsenic by boiling flypaper and killed a shocking amount of people, so I put the angel wings on him as well. And generally I just made him very creepy. I put a little heart in his flute of wine or champagne, whatever he has there, because arsenic has a strong correlation with heart disease when it's not given in a fetal dose. Next up is TTX, or tetrodotoxin, a naturally occurring neurotoxin that shows up in the bodies of various different sea creatures, most notably the pufferfish, but also a variety of octopi, as well as some newts. It is an extremely deadly toxin, and there is no cure. If you ingest a deadly portion of TTX, there's really nothing that medical science can do for you. What is going to happen is you're going to be completely paralyzed to the point where you won't be able to breathe and your heart won't be able to beat. The extra horrifying thing about this toxin is a lot of the times, as people are slowly paralyzed, they are very conscious. A lot of other poisons, like arsenic, for example, cause like confusion and coma, which kind of makes people not aware towards the end what's really happening, whereas TTX is quite frightening because it kind of locks down and paralyzes you completely, but usually people are still like very conscious while it's all happening, which makes it really, really scary. People have been killed by this a lot when they are eating pufferfish, though this very rarely happens at actual restaurants. A lot of the times it occurs when fishermen are eating fish that they've caught and they don't know how to correctly prepare it. Because it is a neurotoxin, I tried to show like the nervous system going up through this like transparent body of this creature. I wanted to go less and less human as we went on, particularly with something like this, which is a very like animal based poison, I guess. And because it's mainly only found in aquatic life, I gave this monster a wave cape, and I generally wanted to make the creature feel kind of sorrowful and sad, mysterious too, but there is something sad about it because the way that a pufferfish at least uses TTX is that basically when it realizes that it's going to be eaten and there's nothing it can do, it actually poisons itself to death with TTX in a last minute sort of act of spite, I suppose. It's really to help protect other pufferfish in the future from being killed or predated upon. There's some animals like the garter snake who've actually managed to get a resistance to this toxin, and so they can eat the newts that have TTX, but generally it's a very effective way to prevent predators who know what's up from eating pufferfish or other creatures that have TTX. And this is definitely the most inhuman character I think I made for this, just because I find neurotoxins so disturbing and scary, and because I really wanted to lean into that like aquatic nervous system kind of angle that TTX is known for. Last on this list, and what I consider to be the most terrifying, polonium-210. Polonium-210 is an isotope of polonium, and it is extremely radioactive. All it takes is a bit of this, the size of a speck of dust, to enter your system, and you will die of radiation poisoning. There's almost nothing that anyone can do. This has been used in murder to murder a Russian dissident in 2006, and may have been and probably has been used in other political murders. It is completely tasteless. It's almost invisible at such a small size, and it can't even be detected with a Geiger counter. So it is an extremely effective way of secretly killing someone. The only way you can really figure out if someone has been killed with polonium-210 is by noticing that they are dying rapidly of radiation poisoning when they have really no reason to be. And it is quite a horrible way to go. It passes through your soft tissues and causes radiation damage kind of everywhere. I wanted to make her look very kind of official, like a hitman, and so I gave her this kind of formal outfit as well as a very harsh haircut. I have her shushing you because it's really been used to remove politically unwanted people, and I had her hand sort of releasing these little dust particles. I also put the decay chain of polonium-210 on her jeans, and in the hole in her stomach that's sort of being eaten away, the strands actually form the numbers 210. If you look closely, but I wanted to make it not too obvious. And generally I just wanted the look of like decay and radiation damage and things just coming apart to be the theme of this character. I also, of course, with the color palette, needed to use some of that bright radioactive green glow that we associate with anything that is radioactive. So I made her whole color palette relatively monochrome, and then I decided that her eyes that are sort of like disintegrating will glow a bright green. I also have sort of like a green underpinning underneath all the colors, which is a trick I've been using lately to make my colors and my illustrations look a little more like they all belong together. And then I did this sort of nerve fan out behind her back, as well as just generally trying to make the whole background and everything look extremely deadly and fatal and more science fiction-y than the others, which are so natural. Pretty much all the other poisons on this list are naturally occurring. Arsenic, TTX, Foxglove, of course, very natural things, whereas in the quantities that it's needed to be useful for anything, polonium-210 has to be synthesized. So it is really the most modern and human of all of these things. So here are all my deadly characters together. I think they make quite a lineup. Thank you so much for watching till the end, and I'll see you in the next one. Huge thanks to all of my patrons, including Avant Grape, Gender Was Stolen, Edward Averill, Haley, Beelzebub, First Spookable, Vegas, it's Jamal, Kay, Rodrigo, Kubo, Moonwolk, Kadaria, Something Super, Deadly Nightshade Art, Maria Vasquez, Astral Fox Art, Middle Z, Lily Allure, The Expressive Poker Face, Morrissey Axolotl, Tsubaki, Michael Lavalley, Cutie Pie, Ruin Raincrow, Rainwater Pearls, Ice Cream Pal, Cola, Insadnia, Your Boy ST, JJ Jade, and of course, Lib 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 Lib.